Hello everyone, and welcome back to Adrian's Digital Basement 2. This is a mini mail call video. It's my new design or new idea to try to speed up the process. And I know I've talked about this a whole bunch, but I would like to have these mail call videos just take a bit less time. So I decided to avoid a backlog and just open up mail call packages as little miniature videos that I can post on the second channel kind of randomly. And that way I can stay ahead of mail call backlog, which I still have a pretty big backlog on the main channel. And there are lots of videos that are actually in the queue for mail call that will be coming out. And I have stuff I haven't also filmed. So those will be coming up still. I definitely haven't forgotten about those. So keep your eyes peeled there. But eventually I'm gonna move mail call entirely over to the second channel as these little short videos, just to keep the flow going. And because I'm trying to keep them short and they'll be posted more frequently, I will definitely probably not go into as much depth, especially if it's a package that someone sends with a whole bunch of stuff in it. We'll just take a quick look at it, maybe look at a few select things, and then I will have to revisit at a future time. So this box here comes from Daniel in Elk Grove Village, Illinois. Hello to all my Illinois viewers. Let's see what we have here. There's a letter. I'll move off to the side. We got some JCPenney packing material here. That's a store that used to exist in the US. I think they're gone. I think. Let's see, we got a computer of some kind. There's definitely some parts missing in here or floating around. Oh yeah, I know what this is. This is a very oddball and interesting thing, I think. All right, so there's a letter here. Good, insert whatever time you're opening this package. I have been a subscriber and watching your channel for about a year or two, and your diagnosis skills never cease to amaze me. You've also inspired me to finally pull the trigger on buying a Commodore 64. I'm including a picture. Ooh, there it is. It looks very much like an Aldi 64 in that it's a very light color case. I mean, is that just a regular 64 case? But it does have a 64C keyboard, which is pretty cool. And that's the earlier 64C keyboard, not the cost reduced one. So yeah, Daniel, a little retro bright there should hopefully clean that up and make it look a little more white. But I notice here you also have an aftermarket power supply, which is definitely a thumbs up for that. So you don't risk any damage. And nice, you're using a little CRT action there for the 64, which is very authentic. And looks like you have sort of an SDIEC thing, but it's plugged into the cartridge port and the keyboard port. So is that one of those very fancy disk emulator things? I think I've heard about those. Anyhow, back to the letter. So I hope you can get this clone. Yes, well, that gives away what this is. Clone to be fully operational. I hope that it gets featured soon on mail call and a repair video. It produces a very garbled picture over RF. You can see a basic prompt and it registers key presses, but it has no composite out. I acquired this computer from an electronics hoard I was cleaning out. It was sitting on a pile of junk in the garage for who knows how long. I grabbed it before it could get recycled. That is amazing, Danielle. Thank you very much for saving a computer like, well, what everyone's gonna see shortly is very unusual. And sending it to me, that's even more incredible. I brought it home and powered it on and it showed nothing over composite. I got hold of an old TV that could actually receive an RF signal and it showed the garbled picture that I described above. Also, I was the one who taped it together after discovering it had no screws on the underside. Thanks for giving the clone a new lease and home on life. All right, let's cut this open, nicely wrapped. So Daniel sent me pictures of this machine. And it is a strange beast because it looks like a TRS-80 Model 1. Let's get this thing unwrapped and untaped. I mean, even the bottom of this thing, it's like a TRS-80. It's so weird. Just trying to get all this tape off, and that's because this is packing tape. packing tape is very good in that it holds boxes together really well. But on things, when you stick it onto things, it's very easy for it to leave a horrible and sticky glue residue behind. So it's certainly not great, but it's better if you take it off quickly, as in it doesn't stay on for too long, and then it's fine. It didn't leave any residue right now, and that's because I took it off. Okay, there's the top of this thing. It absolutely looks like a TRS-80 Model 1. I mean, this is very much a clone of the Model 1 from a case design perspective. The Model 1 doesn't have this big junk in the trunk section here to end about there. It's not much bigger than just this top keyboard section. The keys on the Model 1 are black as opposed to this grayish dirty color, but otherwise the slant, everything about it, very much Model 1-like. All right, so the keys, this thing comes apart. Let's get this off of here. All right, so what was floating around inside was a nut. So I need to make sure I keep that handy. Let's look at the bottom of this here. All right, so yeah, this is definitely a clone keyboard thing here. I don't know where this nut came from, so I'm just gonna thread it right on there. We can tell that this case, the molding quality on it is very low cost. It's almost like it's fiberglass or something, but it is in good shape, no issues. There's little brass standoffs in the corners here. I mean, how freaking fascinating. I have to wonder if this company perhaps maybe made an TRS-80 Model 1 clone and they had it in this case and maybe incorporated the expansion interface and the Model 1 in one motherboard, and then they adapted this to, oh, look at this. There's, the fuse has been bypassed. Maybe they adapted this design to work in here, and that would probably explain what's going on here. These are very much the same connectors that the Model 1 uses. Look at that. Wow, this thing is weird. And the speaker, unfortunately, is just floating around. Who knows? That was probably glued somewhere. This machine is just so unusual. Look at this thing. All right, so 6502 processor here. We got some ROMs, they're EPROMs. We'll have to take a look at those. So the keyboard connected right here to this spot. This is a power cable here. It's covered in rubber. It's got a little adjustment capacitor here, which is almost certainly for tuning the color, like reproduction. That's usually adjust the tint, which is adjusting the phase. Over here on this part of the board, this looks like the video out circuitry right here, and there's a little potentiometer right here that would be for adjusting the video level, and I wouldn't be surprised, very, very corroded looking DIN here is actually composite output. And then this said it was the joystick port, and that plugs into this connector here. And the reason why I say it said that, so it doesn't say, is actually, no, it says this is the joystick port, and then there's a cassette, and then there was a blank. The original Model 1 actually had 3 connections there for the power supply, cassette, not joystick. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But I notice here now, let's see if I can get this to focus. But I noticed there it has actually TV NTSC out and also monitor out. This thing is wild. It's just wild. Danger, high voltage, and there's like a skull and crossbones. Let's take this fuse clip lead off of here. This is so sketchy. So sketchy. This whole power supply here, it's all open and exposed. This is very much, right here, this is very much like the TRS-80 again. It's like mains voltage right here, don't touch anything. It's just like, I just love this is like the mains input cord here is like underneath the RAM here, or these ICs. So like could poke through and short out. I mean, it's just, it seems to have 4 cables here coming off the power supply. So I'm assuming, let's see. So we have plus 5 volts, plus 12 volts. looks like -5, and ground is this brown cable. The colors are weird. These caps are junk. The whole thing is so sketchy. So sketchy. So also just looking around the motherboard here, it's got 48K of memory. Over here on the side, we have a very corroded expansion connector, maybe with some polishing that can come back to life. It has extra power pins there, so whatever plugged into the side of this probably was like a disk drive module or something. And incidentally, while looking at this, I'm pretty sure that this connector, this cable right here, is what brings the video signal to the RF modulator here, which allows it to output composite and also RF. So, and yeah, this board is very haphazardly installed in here. I can see that nut that was floating around came off right there. There's nothing holding on that side. There's just one thing holding it here. This thing is rough, but so cool. It's so awesome. Okay, so I do want to power this thing up. Before I do that, I'm going to put a 2 amp fast blow fuse in here. Whoops. Should offer a little more safety than this ultra sketchy clip lead. Okay, so the multimeter is ready to go. I have it clipped onto the ground lead, which is the black wire. I said it was brown earlier. That was incorrect. I'm going to plug this in. 2 amp fuse is in there. Let's pull that out of here. Okay. Let's just make sure this thing is not actually running here. Okay, I am on one of the bypass caps. All right, so I'm going to carefully turn this on. Okay, got a beep, but 4.3 volts, that is too low. So that could easily be causing some of our issues, right? Let's see if I can probe these wires here. So according to what's on this power supply there, the gray wire, which I'm going to need something to poke down into there. So according to what's written on the power supply, the gray wire is 5 volts. I'm just going to double check that that is indeed 4.3. Yep. Let's see what this brown wire comes back as. -10. Okay, that was obviously a -12. And what about this white wire? -4. And the green is going to be +12, and I assume that will be super low. +10. Okay. Now there's a pot right there. I'm going to tweak that. All right, so I'm going to turn this back on. 4.3, and I'm going to tweak this pot. I know it's blocking the view. Okay, it is coming up. It's at 4.8. Let me just quickly check the other ones. -12 looks nice. That's better. -4.4. It's still a bit low. And 11.5 there. Okay, so we're getting better. Let's tweak this a bit more. I'm probably blocking the multimeter. I apologize. Let me use this arm here. Okay, there we go. We're at 5.0 exactly. I really need to check the ripple and stuff on here. Let's quickly just check the other rails. -12.1 is totally fine. -4.66, whatever. That's used for the RAM. It's probably fine. And positive 11.9 for the 12 volt rail. Okay, looks good. Let's turn this off. All right, let's plug this monitor into what should be the composite output, which is very corroded on the RF modulator. And let's see if we get an image here. Nothing. Nothing, 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 which is actually surprising. And the reason why I think it's surprising is because Daniel said there was an RF output on this thing, and it's just one input into there. So using the oscilloscope, I am just gonna quickly do a check here. So I have the oscilloscope turned on, and there are 2 wires that feed into this RF modulator here. So I'm gonna turn this computer back on. And I'm just gonna probe these 2, and I wanna figure out which one is the video signal, if not both. That one is definitely a video signal. What about this one? That one is like 12 volts or something like that. Okay, so video is this one. Oh, now it looks messed up. What's happening here? All right, so I was just probing the video signal and getting really weird signals. Oh, I was seeing strange stuff in the oscilloscope, like a lot of 60 hertz interference. And it turns out this has happened before. I'm on the Rigol scope probe and the ground lead goes bad. This is now the second one this has happened to. The multimeter is connected to the scope on the ground lug. And look, it's right now connected and we're getting nothing. Look, nothing. And if I jiggle this around, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Like, look, it's not working now. I'm assuming there's something inside of this that goes bad because the probe's not bad. If I touch inside here, there's perfectly good ground. It's something with this little lead here. And this is not the first one that's broke. It's really frustrating because you get very weird readings when this is not connected properly. So while I really like this Rigol scope, I gotta say, the probes, well, at least the ground leads on the probes have really, really let me down. And it's very frustrating. So I have this one here, which I've had forever. Who makes this one? A Ballantine. So this is a Ballantine probe. It's a ×10 or ×1. I guess I'm gonna use this one. Anyhow, of these two connections, one is the 12 volt feed for the RF modulator itself. The other one is just composite. It comes in right here and goes straight to this RCA jack. So if this isn't working, this is strictly because there's a lot of corrosion here, and there is a ton of corrosion. So Deoxit might be required, or I just need to bend this down a little bit, and maybe now it will get a better connection. Perhaps I'll just drip a little bit. Whoop. Okay, I just spilled a ton of Deoxit everywhere. I just meant to put a little bit, and a ton came out. So let's plug this in and out several times. Yeah, I think the big issue is there's just so much corrosion on that jack, and that's why no video seems to be coming out of it. It's definitely has a video signal. It's just corrosion city. All right, plug the power back in. Here we go. Let's try this again. Multimeter. Okay, a scope is connected so I can monitor and look for the video signal level, adjust that down here if necessary. Let's see if this gives a picture. Still nothing there. We're definitely getting a proper looking video signal, and I don't think it's going to be scrambled either. It looks totally fine. The scrambled nature might have been insufficient voltage to the RAM that was causing the scrambled video. All right, I'm turning this off, and I'm going to just hook clip leads up to the video cable because I guess this is just far too much corrosion for that to work properly. Clip leads connected. Let's try again. What's happening here? Why is this showing nothing? It's gotta be, maybe the signal, wait, maybe this monitor is just not working. Should I try something else on it? All right, I have the test pattern generator here, and we're obviously getting an image there. So what the heck is happening? I definitely had these clip leads connected up. In fact, just for fun, I'm gonna re-clip these on, and we're gonna use the oscilloscope and just see what I'm seeing on the cable itself here. Okay, so the oscilloscope is on the clip leads right here, which is hooked up directly to the motherboard. And now let's see what we get. I mean, I apologize for the weird angle here, but this is working. That is an NTSC video signal. Oh, you know what? Let's see here. What is this running at here? So I'm trying to see here the refresh rate. So there's one VSync pulse. So I have the cursors on the VSync pulse there, and it's running at 60.39 hertz. I mean, I don't have them positioned very well. So that is not an issue. It's not running at some strange rate. And let's see what the vertical sync rate is. And the vertical sync rate, 15.6 kilohertz. So that's correct as well. So I wonder why that monitor isn't liking the signal. It's gotta be some kind of a DC problem. I bet, maybe, let me add a capacitor to this. That might make this work. An electrolytic here, what is this? 100 microfarad, 16 volts. Let's see if that helps. It doesn't. Okay, enough messing around with that LCD screen. I'm not blaming it because Daniel probably tried an LCD screen as well. This machine probably outputs a video signal that's not correctly in sync, like the sync pulses aren't doing exactly the right thing. The timing is right, but the voltage levels probably aren't right. I bet you CRT is gonna be far more tolerant of the non-standard video signal. So why don't we try the old Apple IIc monitor here, and let's see if that makes a difference. I'm just gonna unplug all this stuff. It is plugged straight into the RF modulator on the video port. Here we go. There it is. All right, well, I think it's blinking in the camera. It has the regular Apple II prompt there. It says AMI and then the 3. What is this? This is so weird. Now let's turn it off and on for a sec. So it's off. And there it was. There was a bit of garbled stuff on the screen, and then boop, it cleared the screen. So probably whatever was going on, let me turn the brightness down a little bit. Signal's not, it's a little bit noisy. I definitely see a little jitter on it. The power supply is probably not great. I was gonna say probably that low voltage was causing glitching, and of course I fixed it. Oh, look, it's not blinking there. You can read that now. So I guess I should hook up the keyboard and see if that works. I'm gonna try to take this keyboard out of this big case here. And the standoffs I think are all broken, or the glue came out or something. It's kind of weird. So on here, there's like little, they're not broken, they're just loose in there. Assume they were glued in at some point. When you tighten it down, it would actually stay in properly. Yeah. Anyhow, okay, so here's the keyboard. Look at that power LED bent there. The keyboard is not too dirty, all things considered. I'm gonna turn this off, slide this all backwards so I can make some room on the bench. So looking at this ribbon cable, there's no actual stripe on it. Pin 1 is that way towards the monitor. One of the pins is a little bit bent. Let me just fix that. So the keyboard was originally like this, which I'm assuming because of the muscle memory or the memory of this cable, that it was plugged in like this. And if this doesn't kill everything, hopefully it doesn't fry things, I will definitely put a little mark there to indicate what's pin 1. Just grabbing a mouse pad here to situate this. You know, mains voltage right there, like there's a fuse. I just don't want this keyboard to touch anything mains voltage on this power supply. It's so sketchy. It's so sketchy. Okay, I'm gonna look for this power LED to come on. If it doesn't, well, okay, you know what? I'm freaked out. I'm gonna remove this EPROM that's on here, because if this is in backwards and that thing gets somehow shorted out, that is it. EPROMs get destroyed. And I don't know what's on here, so we're gonna pull this out. The notch on the chip matches the notch on the keyboard. Let's just see when we turn this on, do we get the actual power LED on? Here we go. I was about to turn it on. I was just checking that all the other ICs on here are just standard 74 logic chips, and they are. So those are all replaceable. Here we go. Okay, the power LED came on. I'm sure the keyboard, yeah, it's not gonna do anything without that ROM chip installed in there. So let's put that back in there. I'll have to dump that. We'll have to see what that is. Making sure the notch is the correct orientation. It's that way. Okay, here we go. Just trying to get the camera to focus on that properly, and it's focused. Oh, it's very wobbly. That was just a bad connection. Okay, less wobble. This is an Apple II clone. Turn that down on the monitor, doesn't need to be so bright. Syntax error. Okay, what I want to know is what happens when we try to do PR number like 6. Oh, I don't know where that space came from. Okay, the hash or pound symbol doesn't work reliably. So it's like trying to boot, I guess, trying to access the drive, which is not there. Reset button works. You don't have to push control, you just push reset. There is a repeat key. If I push that, it actually repeats. So this is very much emulating the Apple II. Very much so. If we hit Control G, beeps. How about call minus 151? Look at that. We're in the disassembler. There it is. It is disassembling. Sorry for the blinking there. Seems like the scan rate of the camera and the monitor is very, very similar. It's not the monitor, it's actually the computer generating the sync signals. But there is the text. It really looks good, actually. It's very sharp. No issues at all. Let's reset out of there. What about GR? We got, that is working. Oops, the keys are definitely, keyboard needs to be cleaned. There it is, text mode. GR was working. What about HGR? There it is, high res mode. And text. It's funny, yeah, the monitor is having trouble syncing. So definitely the sync coming out of this computer is a little wonky. Notice how it's all over to the side. Watch when I go to GR. And if I go back to text mode, it's gonna move, the whole picture is gonna shift. See that one over there to the side? That is probably something with the sync, the way that this thing is syncing. You know, it could be that it's missing a 75 ohm terminating resistor. Let's turn that off for a sec. Let's go into my little bag o' resistors here. Bag-o. Quite sure. I have a bunch of 75 ohm, that's one. 75, yep, it's pretty common. This is used for termination of like video signals and stuff like that. Okay, 75 ohm resistors clipped on. Let's just see what that does. Oh, that actually killed it entirely. Oh yeah, look at that. That's too much load, too much load. If I pull that off, oh, that did not kill it. I think the problem was bad video. Let's turn this brightness down, way down. This is a bad connection back here. Okay, there we go. It's clear. So GR, text. Yeah, maybe that's better. Did it shift? Did anyone see that? Did it shift? Oops, HGR. I think that might be better. This monitor I'm not 100% sure on. You know, I haven't really used this much. This 2C monitor was donated to the channel, so don't know about that. But anyways, okay, well, I mean, this computer is definitely working. And I mean, look at this, everyone. Let's look through the memory a little bit. That's just dumping the RAM, and it's working. It's an Apple II clone that looks like a TRS-80 Model 1. So I know this thing is just an Apple II Plus clone. It's probably running completely stolen ROMs. They just altered that startup thing there. I mean, what else is there to say? It does need some TLC, needs a good clean. Probably these output caps on the power supply, they look really small. So I'm not sure I trust those necessarily. Could use a little help. The video image is very stable, especially now I added that 75 ohm resistor. So that might be a mod I just permanently install. I'm not sure if that's going to help get the LCD working. I'll have to really investigate like what's wrong with the video signal. And plus I can look at the Apple II Plus schematics and see what Apple's doing. I don't even know if this thing's generating a color burst signal. Like we don't know if it's gonna display color or not. I just noticed something. If I push the shift key, you get lowercase letters. So that is a mod because the Apple II Plus does not support lowercase, right out of the gate at least. You can do a mod where you can, you know, alter the character ROM and actually install the switch on the keyboard and stuff. I actually meant to do a video about that. But this one, apparently, there's no caps lock key. It defaults to uppercase, but the shift key absolutely makes it generate lowercase. Fascinating. And then the P key on the Apple II has like the @ symbol above it. So normally you hit shift, I think, to get that. That doesn't work because that gives you the P. But if you hit shift control and the P, you get the @ symbol. Well, anyhow, Daniel, this computer is amazing. I can't thank you enough for rescuing this thing and saving it from recycling. I mean, what a treasure. I will definitely dump these ROMs for anyone who's interested. And if you've ever seen this computer, like you know about this thing or you know more about the company that made this, definitely please let me know in the comment section below. And I will definitely be showing this again, and I'll put it on the main channel because how cool is this? It'll need to be cleaned up, and hopefully I can do some mods to it. And perhaps I'll just wire in this controller card directly into the motherboard so we can have some floppy disk action, because how cool would it be to load some software on this off a disk, right? That would be amazing. Anyhow, if you liked this video, thumbs up. If you didn't, you know what to do, all the YouTube stuff. Thanks to my patrons, really appreciate it. You can become a patron in the link below. And I hope you enjoyed this weird format of mail call. I mean, I know this one went on a little longer because I couldn't resist the amazing coolness of this computer. But yeah, this is it. This is like how it's gonna be. But for the really, really, really cool stuff like this machine, this definitely deserves a little more digging and a main channel video when I do some more mods to it. So that's gonna be it. Stay healthy, stay safe. And that is that. Bye-bye.